Here we go.
Look, they got your bread.
Oh, don't touch the birds. No. Don't touch the birds. No, they're gross. Yuck. Okay.
Oh, guys, give Joel some bread.
Mom, he threw the whole piece.
Well, Isaac, you gotta give him little pieces. He doesn't understand. Here you go, Joel. Here's a piece. Okay, no, you throw it.
Joel's almost 5, right?
Yeah.
Mom, but he can't talk.
It's true.
Yeah.
You can talk.
Yeah, I know.
Why can't Joel?
Well,
Mom?
Joel got sick right after he turned 1.
Kind of slowed him down a little bit, buddy.
So he's just slower than most kids. I think eventually he'll catch up.
Joel will read.
Yeah, I think Joel will read eventually.
Oh, Isaac, of course. He's just delayed because
Yeah.
Joel's supposed to be a boy, but he's a baby. He's a boy baby.
Yep, he's a boy baby. That's just about right. You know, there's lots of things Joel isn't good at, but there's some things he is good at. What is he good at?
Eating, laughing.
Yeah.
What is it making him laugh?
You are good at making him laugh. How do you make him laugh?
I fall down.
Yeah. It's really funny when you fall down.
He's good at showing us what he loves.
Yeah. What does Joel love? Wawa. In cups, bathtubs, and the warm, wet tongues and the cool fur of Das. And give you the sweet mois of daily affection. And bye-byes. And blown kisses. And more. Oh, always more. This full list of words. So few words.
Is it time? No, but very soon. Do you think they know? Can they sense it?
None of them know.
No one ever realizes how short the time is.
What is pain without a word for it? What is hope without a word for it? Who is God? What is joy? Who am I to him? Dada. a dog.
Are you ready? Set. Go!
Is your leg okay? She's laying on your leg. It's fine.
Ready? Set. Go!
There's a dog.
Lay down. Lay down. Is your leg okay? She's laying on your leg. It's fine.
Just giving Jill a kiss.
Give him a kiss. Can you give Zoe a kiss? Zoe kisses.
You say hi, Zoe. Now give Jill a kiss.
Do it again. Big kiss.
Hey babe, just got done at the doctor. Now they think that maybe he's throwing up all the time because he has acid reflux. So they gave me a medication and we can give it to Joel, and they said we have to give it at least 3 full days, but that if he's still throwing up after that we can come back. And I mentioned the head tilt thing again, even though they keep saying it's not related, but you always have to mention that one weird outlying thing. So I told them how his head was tilted to the right, but they still say that that's probably not related at all. So I guess we'll just give this a try, and I don't know, I'll tell you more about it when you get home.
What do you think, Isaac? He just
Fear is cancer's preservative, cancer's embalming oil. And you, O accuser, are fear's oil salesman. You're a snake, a serpent, a dragon with snuffed out coal on his breath, molting, and talons broken from the struggle to free yourself of your own skin. Hey, do you want to rock? Okay, let's rock. There we go. Oh, shh, 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 shh.
Hey babe, I was just thinking, do you ever think maybe Joel can hear better than he's supposed to be able to? Because I know, like, it's supposed to be moderate to severe hearing loss, but sometimes, like today, he hears music playing before I do. So I saw him dancing, and I had to look around to hear that a song was playing. And I just don't, like, if his hearing loss is that bad, I can't imagine. I don't know, I just wonder about it. Anyway, call me later. Bye.
Oh, hey. I just wanted to take a shower. Is that okay? Are you okay with Joel? Okay, thanks.
Oh, doggy.
Not react
Doggy.
at all.
Whoops.
That's so
And they
sweet.
go. Okay. Here we go, bud. Sit.
You got the puppy. You got the puppy. We're just gonna teach you how to say Axel. The doggy? Yeah, you got it.
Get his toy.
Oh, what's this? What's this one?
That's peanut butter.
He loves it.
Okay.
Come here, Axel. Sit. Easy. Easy.
It's fine. She likes you.
Wants to grab it, Gracie. It's a real puppy. Yeah.
One of the kids likes to grab
Everybody.
stuffed dogs. Oh, that's so cute. She's so calm. You know, sometimes little dogs are yippy. These dogs. Oh, that's so
Hey honey, we're on our way home from the hospital now, so if you wanted to preheat the oven starting in about 30 minutes, that would work, and we could throw on that lasagna. Do you know how they celebrate off-treatment day, like when kids are done with their treatments? I guess maybe you don't because you're not in the clinic as much as I am, but on someone's last day, they always bring them a cake and they sing happy off therapy day to you. Anyway, that happened today. I mean, it happens a lot, but today I cried. I just wanted that day so bad, you know? I just we're not ever gonna get that day. If he's better, we won't know that he's better. We don't get a day. Anyway, okay, call me if you can. There's probably traffic, so I could talk on my way home. All right, bye. How long is it going to be before we can have some answers? Did anyone ask the doctor?
Okay, is it just the doctor on call, or is this our doctor? Well, because the on-call doctor is just a resident.
Is there a way we could talk to our doctor? It just seemed like yesterday in clinic they were going to let us go. I just want to know what the plan is.
Who canceled the treatment?
Isn't it dangerous for him not to get it? I thought he needed that.
I know you're just doing with what you're saying, but can I just talk about that?
Hey, it's you again. I love you. You're my friend. This is my favorite game. Do you want to see? Watch out, start it. You touch it right here, then the big lion comes. You're not a scary lion. It's so loud. I can roar just like him. Yeah, hear me roar? Why? Don't be afraid. You might want to cover your ears. Here comes the animals. Pterosaurs is my favorite.
First thing in the morning, the horse checks his email. The new cotton mail. Farmer Bill plays fetch with the pigs. Farmer Bill plays hide and seek with the cows. In the winter, Farmer Bill plays hockey on the pond with the ducks. Farmer Bill always wins, but the ducks perform mightily. The horses invented a new scripting language called Equiscript. Farmer Bill plays chess with the horse. The horse always wins. Checkmate! The pigs wash the dishes after supper. Farmer Bill can control space and time.
I'm sorry, guys. It's not good.
And there it is. They get it now.
The MRI?
They've always been clear.
Sometimes I wish we could just leave them waiting a few more minutes, because once they get this news, their life never goes back to how it was before.
Well, it's in the frontal
Those
cortex.
were their last
That's
normal
quite small
minutes,
at this point, but
and they
unfortunately,
didn't
the
even
size
know
isn't
it.
terribly important.
I'm glad he's so good at this. He takes the losses so personally. Joel's looking good. He's been making progress, his weight is up. It's just hard to believe that we only made it halfway through chemotherapy. It was rough at first, but I really started to think that he was gonna make it.
Any recurrence means the chemotherapy has failed. This is a tragedy.
I'll nod my head.
With an ATR
Yeah, whenever I ask sciencey questions, I nod my head.
It is fatal.
Digesting every Latin
It's only
word,
a matter of
hoping it
time
will
before
stick
it
to my
spreads
ribs,
several locations.
become part of me.
We've already thrown all
That if I ask
chemotherapy
enough
we
questions,
can.
that maybe I can get my
Can't
brains
continue
around this
giving
cancer,
chemotherapy that we know it's resistant to.
and I can choke it to death. I love asking good questions. It impresses them. They'll be impressed with the way we handle all of this. Such good, thoughtful parents that ask such good questions.
So there just aren't any treatment options that are curative.
We're
I guess
very good
I'm
at
going to
it.
cry after all because they love us. And they love Joel, and
We're very good at managing the pain and masking symptoms at the end of life.
Okay, I said fatal.
Given you a lot to think about
I
already
said
today.
not
We're
curative.
going to have you come
Have
back
I said
Monday
the word
to
death
talk
yet?
about palliative treatment.
I can tell they understand, though. A whole new vocabulary. All the rules are different now. I think it's really sinking in. Oh, she's crying. We should wrap this up
Do a
soon.
lumbar puncture.
All the details
and
can
talk to
wait.
our radiation oncologist to decide whether we could do some radiation or just chemotherapy.
What would the radiation do?
Well, the radiation could probably kill the tumor we see now, which would prevent it from causing any symptoms. But it would not keep more tumors from developing, because we know if it spread here, it has spread other places too.
Science, it's simpler.
Given you a lot to think about already
Measurable.
today, but we're going
I
to have
have
to
A
come back Monday and
and
meet
B
to talk about
and
palliative
subtract C, and I get this result, and I can do something to control it. Or at least have the sense that I'm controlling it. But now all we have left is a miracle. And miracles are
We'll do a lumbar puncture
fickle.
and talk to our radiation oncologist. to
They don't
decide
always
whether we
come
do some
in
radiation or just
always know why. What if Joel's miracle doesn't come?
Well, the radiation could probably kill the tumor we see
I hope he lives.
which would prevent it from
I've
causing
always
any
hoped.
symptoms.
But now I can't do anything but hope. Radiation. At least we can do something. Hope doesn't require signing papers or driving to hospitals or holding Joel in my lap. Hope is for something someone else has to do for us. And when doctors can't,
We'll have some options for you to
invisible Jesus must.
We're so sorry.
Oh, God, I do not want a replacement baby. If that was your plan, I am not on board. I don't want some new baby to help me move on. I would not have chosen this. Oh, God. Joel has to live, or I will not love this baby.
You're welcome.
Sorry, guys. It's not good.
Am I on?
They've always been clear. Joel's had a recurrence of the tumor. Well, where is it? How big is it? Well, it's in the frontal cortex, and it's quite small at this point. But unfortunately, the size is terribly important. Any recurrence means the chemotherapy has failed. This is a tragedy. With an ATR team, as soon as you have a recurrence at the same time, it is fatal. It is only a matter of time before it spreads to several locations. We have already thrown all the chemotherapy we have at it. We can't continue using chemotherapy because there's no way to resist it. So there just aren't any treatment options that are curative.
We're very good at end of life care. We're very good at managing pain and masking symptoms. At the end of life.
How long are we talking about? I have so many things stirring around in my spirit that I have to write to settle myself and find God's wisdom in the midst of chaos. I'm scared I won't be strong enough to face the things we might have to face in the coming weeks and months. But then I remember how much grace God gave us to walk out everything we've already faced. I've never felt completely overwhelmed, and I've never felt alone. So no matter what comes next, and I truly cannot even begin to guess how this will go, I know we will be carried. I want to shout out, look what God is about to do. Watch how he delivers Joel. And at the same time, I want to roll up in a silent ball and wait it out with fear and trembling, so aware of all my doubt, but yet convinced that my doubt is insignificant compared to God's faithfulness.
Guys, are you ready for bed?
Joel, lay down. Okay. Should we do a song?
Sure.
Okay, big boys, how you come in here and we'll sing the littles a lullaby.
I'm tired.
I know, it's bedtime. Ugh, okay. Oh, Elijah, lay down.
Babe, did you even check in his mouth?
Who's Joel? No.
Joel has chicken stuffed in his cheeks from dinner.
That is so disgusting.
Been in there for the last 2 hours.
Oh,
Okay, hold on, I'm trying. Joel, ouch!
Did he just bite you?
Yeah, I think he like just put too much in his mouth so he can't swallow.
He was just saving it for later, babe. Like he needed a midnight snack.
Hey, the little chipmunk.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
The bigger version.
A big version of a little chipmunk. Do you guys remember when he couldn't even eat any solids and because he couldn't swallow? Do you remember that from the surgery? How it hurt his ability to swallow, so we had to give him bottles?
Yeah, I remember one time we had pizza, so he chewed it all up and then spat it out everywhere.
It's so gross.
It was.
I remember that. That was
So gross. But he just wanted to try things so bad. He wanted to taste them. He wanted to be like you guys. Because you got to taste foods. He loved to eat, and I remember all I wanted was for him to be able to kind of eat like a normal kid and have normal things. I thought he'd never be able to swallow normal food. But then he did.
And now it's everything.
Everything. Like he eats pizza and pretzels and chicken.
And fingers. He tried to.
He's going to eat his dad's fingers.
Ow, Joel! God!
Okay.
And big ones.
Okay. Settle down. Come here. Let's sing a song. Okay. What should we sing, Isaac?
We've been through so much already. This is a new degree of tragedy, but it's not so much different from the struggle we've already been living. We pressed into God. We pressed into faith. We fought until we found peace. We stood in peace when our flesh wanted to strive more. We stood in peace when it started to feel like laziness or foolishness or both. We waited for God to direct us specifically in prayer because all the directions we had initiated had not panned out. We prayed for no nausea because that's what we felt in our spirits we were supposed to pray, even though we'd prayed it countless times before while Joel continued to vomit. We saw one small miracle and then another. We waited to pray specific things until we were given specific direction, and we saw bigger miracles. And yet, if you asked either of us if we were doing enough, trying hard enough, we would say no.
So, how long will we be in California?
I don't actually know. That's kind of why we're packing up everything, is because if the trial works really well, then maybe we'll stay in California for a really long time. Like, as long as it keeps helping Joel, then we want to stay and do the best we can for him and stay there where he's getting help. But if the medicine starts to not work, as soon as it's not helping him, I promise we'll come back home.
Are we going to Disneyland?
Yeah, of course. What do you think, Caleb? You okay with leaving for so long?
I'm kind of excited, but I'm kind of not. I mean, I think it'll be fun, but I just don't like missing school.
Oh, yeah.
You're the only 8-year-old to ever... That's amazing.
I hate to miss school, huh? But, like, why?
Well, I just hate having all that homework that I have to do.
Oh, you hate catching up from missing school.
Your teachers are going to send me homework, and we'll just try to do a little bit of it every day, so it won't be that bad, but they'll still be fun stuff we can
How
do.
many kids get to go on an adventure to California in the middle of the school year? I'd say that's pretty cool. And we're going to be staying in the middle of San Francisco, and you're going to be a part of the museum.
As this long day draws to a close, I am tired, but not sleepy. My face is puffy from crying. I have a dry throat and dry hands, a slight headache, and a desire to write down absolutely everything. I want to describe the feeling of being entirely empty and entirely resolute. I want to explore how I can be deeply sad and incredibly hopeful at the same time. I want to talk about holding Joel's hand, walking down the hall wanting to soak in the moment, to memorize the feeling of having his hand and mine, to let it matter, and then hating that my thoughts swing to, because what if I can't hold his hand one day? And hating that thought, wishing I could just appreciate each second of Joel without that appreciation spilling into the pre-morning I refuse to do because I believe he will live. But instead of fighting the brief thoughts of mourning, choosing to fight instead that lie that says that those thoughts betray some doubt, some mistrust of God, when I know that those thoughts make me human. That God knows I am human. He doesn't make Joel's victory dependent on me never feeling unsure. I won't let myself hold anything back this time. I would rather feel disappointed and let God heal my heart than to feel like I did not push myself as far as I possibly could in faith for my son.
I remember the day I was diagnosed. I remember the hallucinations from the high fever of 5-year-old's nightmares. I remember my mother silently weeping in the doctor's office. I remember friends and family gathered around my hospital bed in prayer. I remember the 2-hour ambulance ride to St. Jude where they could better care for me. I remember the 2.5 years of weekly chemo treatments, the numerous lumbar punctures and bone marrow aspirates. I remember Doctors Bell, Dahl, and Kalwinski, nurses Jean, Judy, and Dale, Miss Chris in social work, Darlene in travel, all part of the team that cared for me. I am a walking memorial to their successes. I remember the other patients I'd see each time I went to the hospital for chemo. I remember when some stopped coming. I knew what that meant. I remember the years of summer camp for children with cancer, children like me. I remember their laughter and the midnight talks of fears and joys, normal kid stuff. Some less so. I remember when some stopped coming. I knew what that meant. But I remember them. I am, and other survivors are, memorials to those who lost their fights.
Oh, her expectation is so maddening sometimes. You know what she wrote on the eve of Joel's first surgery? The one back in January when we first found the tumor? I seriously feel like a kid on Christmas Eve. I'm pleading for God to spare his life, and I'm tempted to despair because self-inspection leads me to conclude I shouldn't expect much of anything. And yet my wife is expecting a surprise party from the Lord, replete with presents and supernatural miracles. I envy her.
Hop in bed, boys. Let's go.
Boys, get in bed.
Oh, can you at least tell us a story?
sure.
Okay. This is the story of a very brave knight named Joel.
Joel the baby knight?
Yes, Joel the baby knight. But he's also Joel the very brave knight. And he was being chased by a dragon named Cancer.
Because of his tumor? Where does the dragon live?
In a forest.
Is the dragon big?
Very big.
Does the dragon breathe fire?
So much fire, you guys.
So, Joel has armor, like a sword and a shield and stuff?
Ooh, or maybe a spear?
Yeah, that sounds good. So brave Sir Joel with his sword and his shield and his awesome spear and his super jumping ability was being chased by a dragon named Cancer.
What other superpowers does he have?
He also has grace.
That's not a superpower.
It's the best superpower.
Do you guys know what grace means?
Yeah, it's kind of like help.
Yeah, it's kind of like help. You know, and he's not the only one who's ever tried to fight this dragon. Some very brave knights have fought this dragon and lost. And some are able to drive the dragon off. And they can go home and they can quit fighting for a kingdom and a sea.
Joel's been fighting this dragon for a long time, huh?
A long time.
But Joel found a nice empty cave where he could rest. And it seemed like the dragon couldn't find him. But just when he thought that the danger was past, the dragon found his hiding spot and came after him in the cave.
Well, that dragon's going to kill Joel. Joel's going to lose.
Why do you say that?
Because Joel is just a baby. Babies can't kill dragons.
You're right. A baby can't kill a dragon. But that's the best part of the story. God fights for Joel. So he fights that dragon Cancer right with Joel. And we know that God can win even if Joel can't. That's grace.
What about Tim from Church, Mom? He died from cancer. Wasn't God fighting for him? Didn't he have grace?
Of course, God fought for Tim too. Tim fought so well. He was so brave and so strong. God let him rest. It may have seemed like the dragon won because Tim died. We know that Tim's in heaven and that he's with God and that God is so proud of him. So maybe for Tim getting to be done fighting was grace. saying get in the boat.
I can't.
You have to, you'll drown.
We're already drowning. How can you sit there like that?
Despair doesn't help anything.
Neither does false hope. And I'm not despairing.
How can you say false hope? You're drowning.
Well, you're missing your oars. And you don't even know where you're going. And yet you're so sure you're gonna get there.
It's better than drowning.
Well, enjoy floating on the surface like you always do.
There's nothing deep about drowning. Just get in the boat.
You have to let me feel this. Someone has to.
That's not fair. I love him as much as you do. I just really believe we're going to be okay.
We miss Carrie at week 12. Sad, sad. But surely the next one will go better. It does. We relax after week 12. The belly grows. We take pictures. Alex talks and plays music to the little one inside. I walk on the frozen North Sea. Skip the sauna. No risk to this one. Week 29, a sonogram bonus. Twins! We float on air. We brainstorm names. Week 31, we crash. Too soon. Too soon. They whimper, open eyes, look into ours. Off to the incubators. We drag ourselves home, cry, hope, pray. We visit, touch, keep track on a wall chart. Stefan's heart beats strong. He grasps a finger. Then he fades. His brain bruised from breech birth. Day 5, he dies. We grieve, but pray for Nicholas. He gains weight. His heart is strong. Then he too fades. His intestinal tract necrotic, falling apart. Day 10, Nicholas dies. We want to die too. We despair into darkness, but hold together. Not easy when a child dies. The what-ifs torment for a while. What if I hadn't swum? If I hadn't lifted groceries? If we'd had a different doctor? But we go on to have 3 wonderful living children. Still, we miss these 2 always.
Dear Mr. Barnett, I'm not sure if this letter will get to you. However, I felt the need to write to you in your company. My daughter recently passed away after a long battle with cancer, and she was only 14 years old. In our short time with her, we saw her transformed from our wonderful little girl into a sickly child who spent far too many days in her bed full of pain. And we worried that we would never see her happy again. Well, the hospital gave her access to a computer, and she found her way to your game. I'm unsure really what it is, but from the day that she began playing Legends of Terrace, our daughter changed. She sat up, she was excited, she smiled again. She told us all these stories about what she was doing in the lands, all the things she wanted to do in real life but was too sick to try. She swam in the ocean, rode a horse, she had birthdays, bought a house, and she went on adventures with these new friends from all over the world. I don't know how to explain the happiness that it brought to us. For a short while, our daughter returned to us. She'd regained the wonder and an optimism that the illness had taken from her. She talked about strange lands that you had made, the creatures, magical things, and adventures she went on. She lost her battle for life, but you helped bring our daughter back for a short time. And for that, we're eternally thankful. Sincerely, Julie.
Dear Julie, thank you for your letter. I am honored to have played any small part in bringing your daughter joy. She will be missed within the game. I knew your daughter as Hinara of the Knights Guild. In our world, she lived in Dvardik and defended the city many times from the forces of evil. Your daughter may have ultimately lost her battle with that dragon cancer, but in my game, she was the dragon slayer. Since you don't know much about the game or who she was there, I'm sending you a screenshot of one of your daughter's adventures. Sincerely, Paul.
Reminded that having faith does not mean denying what is happening to Joel. Faith means knowing exactly what is happening and also knowing that God has a truth that trumps every other fact. I'm sure my expectation looks like denial, but seeing Joel dying does not make me any less certain that he will be healed. In some ways, I feel more certain, not because the same doubts don't come to me, but because I know that they will not be entertained much longer, because this chapter is almost finished, and we will have an ending one way or the other. So the doubts and fears that make me reaffirm that even if I'm wrong, this is where I stand, become less and less powerful. People's conciliatory words of comfort meant to reassure us and help us accept Joel's death don't sit well with me. They aren't offensive because I know the heart behind them is good, but they are weak words because it's so obvious to me that death is the given. I don't have to work to be ready for it or accept it. It is coming whether I would accept it or not. It has been coming slowly for so long. I don't have to work to understand that Joel is dying. It is obvious. Heaven is amazing. And so I'm not worried about death. It will come regardless of where I stand and wait. But now, death is circling close enough for redemption to finally feel closer. This is the part of the story where a daring rescue can thwart Death's intentions just in time, perhaps when it looks like it's already too late. I want to watch for that. I don't need to focus my eyes on Death, studying it in its slow progression. Its course is already clear. But there is a glory that is coming, and its journey to us is wild and quick and frightening, and I want to be watching for that glory. I want to stand trembling in awe before God and His power. Not sure that this thing that we've asked for is something we can quite manage. But trying anyway. Death is the given. But the life that is possible now for Joel, the miracle that could come now that death is so close, is something worth pursuing, worth risking everything to see with my own eyes.
The sunset looks pretty from here. The orange glow cast on the wall. Better than the muted colors of this hospital. I wonder why they choose blues and greens. They, the ones who choose the colors that heal. Green for life. Blue. For comfort. Purple stripes to hide the stains. This chair is too small and sticks to my skin. I hate vinyl. Blue, purple. The ocean, maybe? No, under the ocean. Silent, warm, and salty, like tears. He won't stop crying. I don't blame him. He feels miserable. I hate that we're here. I hate that he's sick. I just want him to feel better. Don't throw your head, buddy. Don't. I hate this room. I didn't used to. For a moment, it was an adventure. I was cast as the compassionate and caring father, holed up with his fragile son in a small cleft in the rocks. The storm raging, waves ripping at the sharp black rocks below, and enveloped in my arms, he feels safe, and I am holding him firmly, trying not to slip. Because if you hold tight enough, nothing will take him. Right? Here we go, bouncing around. Do you like that? Oh, I love your giggle. Bounce around. Is that funny? A bounce, a bounce, a bounce, bounce, bounce. Oh, he won't stop crying. if he's hungry. He's screaming louder. Buddy, don't you want juice? He hits the box. I don't catch it. He drinks it greedily. Big, deep gulps. Okay, Jolie, that's enough. Breathe, kiddo. And he does. And I wipe his face of snot and tears and juice. And then he vomits, and I catch it. I always catch it. I know you're thirsty, buddy, but you'll throw it up. Don't grab too hard. You'll squirt all the juice out. Here, let me have it. It's so late, Joel. Lay down. I can't hold you. I can't make you feel better. Okay, buddy, okay. I'll hold you. Oh, Joel Bug. You look so miserable. No! Don't hit your head on the bars, Joel. Joel! I know you're mad. Please stop. Please. Stop. I shake. I weep. I pray. I plead. I need peace. I am empty. You are. I don't know all that you are there. I want you here. I want you to call my son. I cannot. And you've brought us this far. He's still here, not dead, not there, with you. Oh God, I want him here with me. Please. Peace. He sleeps. Thank you. There's a story in the Bible where Jesus and his disciples are on a boat. And a furious storm hits the sea, and everyone thinks they're going to die. And where do you think Jesus is? Rowing alongside them? No. He's asleep in the back of the boat. So his disciples are freaking out and wake him up, and they say, "Don't you care if we drown?" So Jesus gets up and he says to the storm, "Quiet, be still." And the sea becomes completely calm. Then he asks his disciples why they are so scared and if they have any faith at all. Like he was frustrated with them. Because even though Jesus said, "Let's go to the other side of the lake," his disciples thought he was going to just let them die.
Oh, we're in Nevada. We're in Nevada. We're in Nevada. We're in California.
So, now that we're in California, how much longer to San Francisco?
About 3.5 hours, bud.
Oh.
So Joel died. Everyone does eventually, I suppose.
They are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves Joel. Yes, Jesus loves Joel. Yes, Jesus loves Joel. La 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 la. He loves Joel so much. Oh, he loves Joel. The Bible tells me so.
But more than that, if he does die, will Jesus even care? Will he weep for him as he did for Lazarus? Will he weep for me? I think greater than my fear of death is that of insignificance. Or rather, my default assumption is that my thoughts and passions and loves and the stuff of my being are insignificant. How could the creator of all that is and ever was love my son as he did Lazarus? And could my soul stranded on this blue raft awash in a sea of stars, ice, and dust matter enough to him to turn his hand in mercy? Even while Jesus wept for Lazarus. 5 minutes later, he raised Lazarus from the dead.
I'm sorry. I should have known we'd both end up in the same place. We always do. It just scares me every time. I just really believe he'll be healed. I know you believe too, just when you act like that, I get all unsure.
I don't know that.
What do you mean?
I just hope that.